It's good to see everyone again tonight. I'm back with a daily guided meditation, and tonight I'll be sharing something just a little bit different for you. I'll be sharing something that my friend Terry Dixon shared with us today in our church service. Now, for better or worse, this letter that he'll share from F. Scott Fitzgerald actually didn't happen. It's a parody. But I think the sentiment of a light at the end of the tunnel, some hope that despite the challenges we're experiencing now, we will move on. We will go on with changes, of course, but we're really resilient and resourceful. And if they could handle this 100 years ago during the Spanish flu, we can handle it in this time of difficulty. And so Terry will share the letter, open us to guided practice, to meditation, and then I'll ring the bell after 7 minutes. Thanks so much for joining today, and I will begin Terry's reading now. Keeping in mind, once again, this didn't actually get written by F. Scott Fitzgerald. You might let your eyes close.
For our reading and meditation this Sunday, I've selected a letter written by F. Scott Fitzgerald in 1920, exactly 100 years ago, when he and his wife Zelda and others were holed up in the south of France in quarantine during the Spanish influenza epidemic. This is the letter. Dearest Rosemary, it was a limpid, dreary day, hung in a basket from a single dull star. I thank you for your letter. Outside, I perceive what may be a collection of fallen leaves tussling against a trash can. It rings like jazz to my ears. The streets are that empty. It seems as though the bulk of the city has retreated to their quarters. Rightfully so. At this time, it seems very poignant to avoid all public spaces. Even the bars, as I told Hemingway. But to that, he punched me in the stomach, to which I asked if he had washed his hands. He hadn't. Oh, he's much the denier, that one. Why, he considers the virus to be just influenza. I'm curious of his sources. The officials have alerted us to ensure we have a month's worth of necessities. Zelda and I have stocked up on red wine, whiskey, rum, vermouth, absinthe, white wine, sherry, gin, and, Lord, if we need it, brandy. Please pray for us. Oh, you should see the square. It is terrible. I weep for the damned eventualities this future brings. The long afternoons rolling forward slowly on the ever-slick, bottomless highball. Z says it's no excuse to drink, but I just can't seem to steady my hand. In the distance, from my brooding perch, the shoreline is cloaked in a dull haze, where I can discern an unremitting penance that has been heading this way for a long, long time. And yet, amongst the cracked cloud line of an evening's cast, I focus on a single strain of light, calling me forth to believe in a better morrow. Faithfully yours, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Well, as the French themselves would say, plus ça change, eh? But I invite you to focus on Fitzgerald's last line. And yet, amongst the cracked cloud line of an evening's cast, I focus on a single strain of light, calling me forth to believe in a better morrow. So I suggest that you put down anything you may be holding in your hands. Sit comfortably in your chair, with your feet firmly on the floor. And if you wish, gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath, then another. Let's reflect on those words, cascading down over the decades. Let's remember that as in Pandora's box, hope always persists. We must believe in a better morrow.
Using this time to let your experience be just as it is, not doing anything at all. Letting thoughts unfold, emotions play out, noticing sensations and sounds, and simply observing, witnessing. Letting go of any expectation of how this moment should be. Aware of the impermanence of change and rest in its midst. And then taking one final minute, sensing what you might release or let go of. And then listening for the sound of the bell to open your eyes. So I'm thinking of, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. While that letter might not be authentic, we can find some hope in choosing to believe it. I'll share the link to the McSweeney's article. And want to thank you, Daniel and Laura, Frank, Kaylee, and others for joining us today. You might check out my Monday night class, Simply Meditation, which will happen in lieu of a Facebook Live tomorrow. Be sure to register through the link above. And thank you for supporting Center for Self-Care. Good night.